We want to say good morning to J.P. Morosi, leading the league in information, and we do have plenty of real baseball to talk about today. J.P., who shops and pays for his own wardrobe, good morning to you. Let's start with this big three-team mega trade between the Braves, the Brewers, and the Oakland A's. We all had a suspicion that the A's were going to deal Sean Murphy, and it turns into a much more complicated, much more interesting trade than any of us may have seen coming. Tell us about it.
Good morning. Yes, three teams involved in this one. Sean Murphy goes to the Atlanta Braves. That is the big prize of this particular trade. Contreras, I thought that was one of the more interesting inclusions in this deal. William Contreras, younger brother of Wilson, of course, heading to the Milwaukee Brewers. Manny Pena ends up in Oakland. Of course, the Braves had a tremendous amount of catching depth, and so two of them go in this deal to different clubs. Esteurio Ruiz is a really promising outfielder. Of course, he goes to the Oakland A's. Kyle Muller, one of the very best pitching prospects in the Braves organization, winds up in Oakland as well. So certainly A's fans are familiar with this refrain. Even less than a year ago, of course, Matt Olson goes the Atlanta Braves from Oakland. So these have been very familiar trade partners indeed. And I think it just got to the point, Matt, where the price tag was very high and the Braves, with some help from the Brewers, met that price. And to get Muller in that deal from Oakland's perspective was really important. One of the very best young starting pitchers in that Braves organization. And for Atlanta, Murphy is the ideal complement to Travis d'Arnaud. That's going to, I think, allow the Braves to have one of the very best catching tandems in the sport. A Gold Glove winner in 2021, as I mentioned, reunited with Matt Olson, his longtime teammate in Oakland. Now they're both in Atlanta, and I spoke yesterday, Matt and Harold, with someone close to Sean Murphy who said he is ecstatic with this deal, with this landing place, and why not? Of course, one of the great organizations in the sport, in the Atlanta Braves, the World Series champion, 1 year removed, and you see what Sean Murphy can do both offensively and defensively. A career-high 18 home runs in 2022.
Yeah, I guess the question I have, and there's a number of them. The first one is regarding d'Arnaud. Yes, what you said is true about creating this great catching tandem. But Travis d'Arnaud's coming off an all-star year, one of his best years in the big leagues. 10-year veteran. He's under contract through next year. What's his state of mind in all this? Like, does he want an equal timeshare, or does he want to be the guy? Because he certainly deserves that right to ask the question.
Well, he does, Matt, and it's a really good point. A couple notes there, according to Mark Bowman, writing at MLB.com, a couple key notes there. Number one, Alex Anthopoulos did say that he spoke with d'Arnaud previous to this trade being consummated to let him know what the plan was, and that he envisions both d'Arnaud and Murphy getting some time at DH. The Braves don't really have a full-time DH to speak of. So in the modern game, you do see players occasionally rotating through. The catching position, as we know, is so demanding. So this could end up being a timeshare between catcher DH to find different ways to get rest for each player. And also, and I love what Alex said about this, is that you cannot time, ideally, when really good players become available to you. You can't say, well, we've got a catcher now, so we're going to pass on Murphy and not get him. He has to look at, Alex does, the big picture and how the roster of the Braves will look in 2024. And if Alex looks at the landscape for the next couple off seasons and says, wait a minute, the best catcher I'm going to have access to, whether it's via free agency or trade for the next couple years, is right now, and it's Murphy. I'm going to get him now and worry about the way the rest of the roster dynamics get sorted out in due time. Get the player that you want now. It's actually, in some ways, guys, I think dovetails nicely with the conversation about starting pitching and free agency. The general industry consensus is that right now the starting pitching free agent class, at least when it began this offseason, when Verlander was still out there and Senga and DeGrom, this was going to be a decidedly better free agent class now than it would be a year from now. So get your pitching shopping done now. If you need a shortstop in the next couple years, if you're the Padres, get them now, because this is when the shortstops are available. And I think that the Braves, based on what Alex Anthopoulos said, gentlemen, that he believes the same thing was true of catching with Sean Murphy right now.
All right, I want Harold's take on this trade because, we can't scorecard this completely yet because so many of these players are young guys and we won't know, what Oakland got back until maybe 2-3 years down the road. But what's your initial reaction?
Well, three-team trades are tough to do, so you got to have the relationship with the GMs. Murphy was a coveted player. Here's my take on the whole deal. The Braves don't go through all this extent to get Murphy to split time. Darnell's gone. Eventually, if I'm him, I'm asking to go. You're not going to get you're not getting the lion's share of playing time. And I do think, having watched the Braves, what they do, they're looking to lock him up full long term. They didn't do all that to get Matt Olson to go, Matt, you know what? Hey, we're going to split time with you. You can DH a little bit here and there. No, you're our first baseman. Next day, boom, they had a big deal. I'm looking for the next move the Braves do. They're going to Murphy and saying, here's a long-term contract. You've been in Oakland. You've been going up and down, begging for bread. Look, we're going to hook it up. And then they're going to figure out what to do with Darnell. They're sitting in the driver's seat. You got an all-star catcher that can go out on the market for what they need.
Yeah. Look,
that's how I see the whole thing.
This is potentially one of those scenarios, JP, where everybody can win. Again, we're not going to know, and we're not going to be able to fully scorecard this out until the prospects in Oakland have arrived and proven what they can do. In terms of the immediate future, though, in Oakland, Sean Murphy was the best of what they had. He's now gone, and that cabinet is bare of at least familiarity, right? There's talent there, I'm quite sure. But at the catcher position, it's going to be a code share between Manny Pena and Shea Langoliers, who ironically was one of the players that came from Atlanta in the Matt Olson deal last year. So Atlanta West and many of those kids, and they are kids, are going to have a chance to play every day for an Oakland team that is not projected to really make much of an impact.
If I'm a young player, I'm excited. I'm going to get a chance to play every day in the big leagues.
Spin for sure.